Thank you so much for tuning in to Think Tech. I'm your host, Attila Seress. My show, Next Big Thing, takes people doing interesting, important, and innovative things, and then giving them a place to share it with the world. With us today is Ken Berkun. He's got an interesting, cool new product that you must see to believe. It completely changes the way that you can pick up information off of a barcode. I'm sure you've seen those little QR codes on different vans and trucks and different, maybe in the grocery store. And those QR codes are great, but maybe your iPad doesn't have a QR code reader, or your phone doesn't have a QR code reader. You got to download an app. It's too complicated. Plus, then you need internet access to pick it. It's so complicated. He's got something better, and it's called Labels That Talk. And he's with us today. He's joining us via Skype. Say hi, Ken, to our live audience.
Hi, this is Ken, and happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Attila.
Now, Ken, why don't you tell me what inspired you to create such a product? Where did it come from?
Well, actually, it's a good story. I have a kid. She's a little older now, but at one time she was a baby, and of course I started taking a lot of photographs. Hadn't been much of a photographer before that, but like all new dads, I suddenly became one, and I wanted a better way of labeling the photographs than just scratching my handwriting all over this. I'm left-handed, I have lousy handwriting. I said, there's got to be a better way. Can't I just say a few words about the photograph and print out a label and stick it on the photograph? This came down to me even harder when my dad died, and we went through the proverbial shoe boxes of photographs and realized people hadn't even bothered to write the names of the people or the dates, and that information's all gone. So he said, what can I do to make it as easy as possible to label photographs? I just want to say a few words, print out the words, stick it on the machine, on the photo. And then I realized, even beyond that I wanted to be able to capture sounds as you take a photograph. Capture whether it's your kid's piano recital or your daughter saying, I love you, Mommy, or whatever it is. You should just be able to encode those words and print it out, because paper is forever and your photograph is forever. And even though you probably have zillions of photographs stored on your computer or your iPhone, if you want it to last, print it out. Long after your disks have crumbled to dust, your paper will still be there.
Well, no, see, what you have to do is you take that computer that that you have all your photographs on, and then when it gets infected with a virus, you shove it in the closet, and then you keep piling more and more computers onto that one computer until your entire closet's full of computers, because that's how you know your photos are safe, right?
Right, that's how you know. But now with photo books, this is still a big issue, and people create these photo books now, and they pull them out, and that's great, but can't you really learn more? As one of the people in our focus group said, a picture captures the moment, but Soundpaper tells the story. And so here's an example of a photo book where I've put Soundpaper in here, and I'll demonstrate how you can scan this with our Soundpaper app and listen to the actual words. And so just converting the words to text really didn't do the job. You really want to capture the actual sound, because that conveys emotions and intimacy that you don't get. So it turns out that photographs are still a big reason for Soundpaper, and we are working with photo book companies to bring this to market. But that turned out to be just the beginning. Once I had the idea and I started playing with it, it turns out there's a zillion applications for audio on paper. Audio is an underused mechanism today on the web. And so you want to be able to capture your sound and do things. You want to share it. So with our app, which I want to make clear is not yet shipping, this is still in development. At some point, you'll be able to take a photo, capture the sounds. The sounds in the photo will go up to Facebook or Flickr, and you'll be able to listen to it there. But when you print it out, you'll still have the sound with you, and that's something you just can't do today.
No, it's true, and it'll last 100 years versus the next cloud provider that gets hacked and you lose all your pictures. That all disappears. Now you mentioned that you had a demo that you wanted to show this.
Let me actually show you some of the things that we can do. I'm going to move my camera a little bit. So I have an array of examples here, and I will power up the old phone.
I see you have your iPhone, right?
iPhone, I have my Soundpaper app. Again, this is in beta test now, so it's not yet available. And
so this is awesome new technology, but you, as the watcher, can't have it yet.
Yeah, but stay tuned. Well, I have a glass of water sitting on a coaster here, and one of our
Do you mind bringing it closer to the
customers,
camera? Yeah, there you go. A little bit over.
customers is the largest printer of beverage coasters.
Beverage coaster.
And so this, an example of something, we took a Newcastle advertisement and put it on the beverage coaster. Now imagine if you're in the bar, you scan this, maybe you get a joke of the day and 50% off your next beer. But we'll just go ahead and do this. So just like a QR code or just an app, you scan it. And try not to hit the other button in the way.
Oh, and that's like the audio recording of their advertisement.
Exactly. So this is actually in the barcode itself. So as you can see, it keeps going. It gets quite a bit of audio on there. But the difference is this will work whether you're on an airplane or a submarine, or you just have AT&T as a service provider. It always works. All in the barcode itself. You don't have to go out to the web. Now you can, of course, go out to the web as well. While you're waiting for that website to pop up, you're being entertained by audio. And of course, you can actually put anything you want in here. The product name is Soundpaper, so you can put audio, but you can also put your URL for your website, put photos, animations, any kind of HTML5, coupons, anything you want could go in the barcode itself. So it always works. Another example of one of the customers we're talking to is in the sports memorabilia business, and they have we got to visit their warehouse in Florida. They have a warehouse full of signed footballs and baseballs. They have the entire floor from the Sweet 16 basketball, and they cut up the floor into sections and they sell it with signed autographs. They have 100 stores where celebrities come in and you can get a signature, and they want to be able to get personalized audio as well. So they say, thank you, Mrs. Smith, for coming in here, and they sign it and date it. Well, this is, for all you baseball fans out there, remember the '86 Mets and the famous grounder between the legs. So we took the actual radio of that radio broadcast, and we encoded it, stuck it on the photograph. And so when you scan that, you've got more than just the signature. You have the actual recording itself.
Behind the bag, it's that Here comes Knight, and the Mets winning.
So another kind of thing that you just can't do any other way. They've experimented with the little electronic units, such as you find in greeting cards, and those don't work very well. The sound quality is poor. They don't last. In fact, the greeting card companies are very interested in this technology. Today, you can upload a photograph and type in a message, and they'll print a custom greeting card for you. Everyone from Hallmark to American Greetings to Apple will do that. Well, next you'll be able to upload audio, and when you print your card, it will print out the audio, and you'll have something that will, again, last forever.
And it's far less expensive than putting in a chip and because I see those cards, you
Exactly.
open it up and a hamster dance, music, that kind of thing,
I was actually very surprised at the interest that we've gotten from American Greetings and Hallmark, because I thought those cards are pretty cool. But it turns out that they have issues with reliability, and of course they're not archival, and they want people to be to personalize cards. That's their future. So I have something from my wife, and this is the first greeting card ever made with Soundpaper.
Can you show us the greeting card?
Hey, honey, here's a wonderful year for you and many more years for us together.
So what matters is now that years from now, I or my daughter or my grandkids will be able to listen to this, because as long as the paper exists, you'll still be able to listen to that sound. Now, there's obviously more prosaic uses. Advertising is going to be a big deal for us. There's an example, I just used Geico ad and used some of their sound in there. And product labeling. So we are working with the world's largest printer of product labels, a company called CCL Industries. You've never heard of them, but they print for Procter & Gamble and L'Oreal and Unilever and all those other companies. And they print literally hundreds of millions of product labels every day. And companies are always looking for a better way to communicate information about their products. Wine manufacturers, for instance, are especially interested. Every bottle of wine has a little paragraph on the back about how this fine bottle of Merlot will go with those old tennis shoes you're cooking up tonight. But it turns out people don't. And, sadly enough, as my wife says, I'm taking a great step forward for illiteracy. But the winemakers are thrilled because you'll be able to scan this and instantly learn about the wine and maybe, again, get a coupon. So product labeling and advertising is a big deal for us. But we do have, I think, very important usage for that will help people. Obviously, this is applications for the blind. We've been talking with the National Federation of the Blind from early on. Many blind people are very, very organized, and they know exactly where everything is. But most blind people, just ordinary people like you and me, and they have their cabinet full of boxes. But when they open a can of soup, say, it's not so easy for them to know what's inside of it. So imagine if every can of Campbell's soup had the little Soundpaper on there that said, this is Campbell's chicken noodle and it expires in August 2015. Well, that's a tremendous benefit for the blind and really for everybody. So that's something that we look forward to doing. And then one other application that will come in the future, there's a huge problem with people not understanding what's in their prescription bottles. It turns out people have a tough time understanding it. They don't even know what the various icons mean for warning labels. And 100,000 people a year end up in the emergency room simply from misunderstanding their prescription label. 7,500 of them die. That's a pretty serious problem. So imagine a little standalone device like this, which would be either low cost or free. You take your prescription bottle and you simply drop it in. And I should tell you that this is a mocked up demo, kind of smoke and mirrors, but this is where we're going. And you simply drop it in. Not sure you can hear this. But it
also reminds you when to take it. That's perfect. So if you're an elderly person, your vision isn't so good, but you still need to take these pills, of course. You know, this is perfect.
Exactly.
You just pick it up, scan it somehow, and then there you go.
There you go. And people over 65 take twice as many prescriptions as people under 65. This requires no cell phone, no internet. You don't need anything wired up. It simply works. Couldn't be easier. You can record it in whatever language you need to, either your pharmacist or your caretaker. I think that'll be tremendously useful. Now, anything medical takes longer, so that's not first on our products. Right now, we're working hard to get the free Soundpaper scanning app out the door. We expect that to happen before the end of the year for iPhone and Android. Then after that, we'll have the photo app to allow you to add sound. Meanwhile, by the way, if you want to add sound to your photos, may I recommend a local company, one of the blue startup companies called Ridify, has just released their app on the iTunes store, and that allows you to add sound to your existing photos so that you can annotate something. In fact, I used it. I took for my physical therapy. I have bursitis in my hips, and it took a photo and had my physical therapist tell me exactly how to move. And that's a great application. We'll be adding Soundpaper to that later on, so once you print the photo, you'll still have the sound with it. So a lot of uses for this. We're very focused on getting one product out the door, the base product. This will allow our customers who print, again, hundreds of millions of objects to start printing things. And I look forward to the day when I walk into my local grocery store and I see all kinds of packages with Soundpaper on it.
Well, now, will anyone be able to print these barcodes, or is it going to be only for the manufacturers?
A good question. Yes, anyone will be able to print. The great thing about this is it's simply ink on paper. We'll print on almost any printer. We've tested it on inkjets and laser printers and web printers and commercial presses of all sorts. In fact, Time Magazine was very concerned. They used the cheapest possible paper on, for instance, Sports Illustrated. And they were concerned about where we be able to print on that and not have it bleed through in the back. And so we tested that on their printers, and it works fine. So the commercial presses will put out millions of items, and you'll be able to print them yourself. The way our business model is scanning is always free, and it costs a little bit of money to actually print the barcode. Similar to the Adobe Acrobat model, anyone can read a PDF file, but it costs you some money to make one. So it's a very simple and effective business model for us. We'll make our money because hundreds of millions and billions of objects get printed every day.
Well, plus, I'm guessing also that if you're in a bar, like your first example, and you scan a coaster, and then you listen to the ad, and you get a special or whatever, then when that phone does become within, data range, that information can then be reported to the original advertiser, correct?
That's absolutely true. It's very important for the advertisers to gain metrics, who scanned it, mostly where and when it was scanned. We do have a very strong privacy concern. You'll have to opt in to allow that to happen, so none of your information goes out without permission. And of course, it's anonymized. But we can also do something that's really handy for you. People are concerned about scanning barcodes because it might take you to a dangerous website, a site with malware on it. We have as an option the ability to digitally sign this barcode, which means that we've reviewed the site, we've vetted the site to make sure it is safe, and it's signed with a digital certificate so that if you go to that site, it's safe to do so. We can also encrypt the barcode. So for instance, in a medical office where a doctor might be taking notes verbally, but only people with the right privileges, either through a PIN or a thumbprint, can actually listen to it. So there's some great things that we can do with this barcode that no one else can do, because our magic is that we print these little tiny dots that you cannot see right here. And so we store an amazing amount of information, tens to hundreds of times as much information as in an existing barcode like a QR code. And that's our magic. We have to be able to read that barcode with a low-cost cell phone camera that's always in motion and not in focus. And that's been where most of our software development has been focused on. We're really inventing new grounds in image processing and what they call machine vision. We've got 5 patents already issued and 4 more pending. Very important to Hawaii, we have been able to use local talent through the University of Hawaii. Dr. Alec Havchek there is actually a world leader for reading and understanding very small bits that's been applied to disk drives, and we've taken his technology and expanded it into what we're doing with barcodes. And to give you an idea of how much we could put in there, here's an example of the same information. It depends on your printer. So the better the printer you have, the smaller you can make the barcode. And this is all about print real estate being precious. A bottle of shampoo is only so big. But look at the difference. This is the same information printed with a 270 DPI printer and the 360 DPI printer. And of course, a commercial press is going to be up to 400 dots print, so you can make it even smaller. Well, no one else can do this. We are the only people who can make sense of little tiny dots like that. And I'm very excited to be a startup company in Hawaii and bringing new technology that we think will find use worldwide.
No, I think it's really great, and we can also talk about maybe how you can take some of this data through a magnetic detector or something else that would cause interference, or perhaps on a plane, and you wouldn't have those kind of issues because it's a piece of paper. So are we worried about maybe some of our secrets getting out by being printed on this labels that talk type of technology?
Well, we think there might be some uses in the security industry because you can encrypt it. You can put secret messages inside it. When I scan it, it's an ad for Coca-Cola. When your secret agent scans it, it tells you the meeting place and the drop-off location. So you can get some thrillers work there. But the great thing about us is we're a licensing company. So we've developed the technology. We license it to anyone who wants to use it. For a commercial user, they simply upload audio, download camera-ready art. For a home user, you record whatever you want. Take a photograph, you print it out at home on your home printer, or you send it to a photo printer to be printed with your photo. Or you even walk into a drugstore and sit down at a kiosk to make your own photo book and do a recording there. Endless applications. Nothing will ever be lower cost because we're simply ink on paper.
And that's perfect. Well, Ken, we really appreciate you sharing your vision. I really hope to see this very soon on the App Store. And where can our viewers go for more information about this product?
You can find out more about us at soundpaper.com. That's soundpaper.com. Think of sandpaper, but soundpaper.
Soundpaper.com. Got it. Well, Ken, thank you for joining us on ThinkTech. Really appreciate you sharing everything. For more information, go to soundpaper.com. I'm your host, Attila Seress, for Next Big Thing. And if you're watching us live, stay tuned. We have more ThinkTech. Otherwise, tune in next Friday for Next Big Thing. Thank you so much, and aloha.
Hello.